My 3-month-old son was always full, but my chest was still painfully heavy. Using the machine hurt too much, and my husband, David, flat out refused to help relieve the pressure, acting totally grossed out by the idea. Then, I stumbled upon an unusual online ad. A wealthy family needed a wet nurse. The requirements were simple: abundant supply, able to satisfy a hungry newborn. The pay? $300 a session. I was ecstatic. Good money and relief from my daily discomfort? Sign me up. One afternoon, right after I finished feeding the baby, the father, Mr. Smith, walked in. His eyes immediately dropped, lingering on my figure way longer than they should have. I heard him swallow hard. The look in his eyes was like a wolf staring at its next meal. Let me back up. I'm Sarah, 26, married, and my son Leo is 3 months old. My biggest problem right now? I produce way too much. Even after Leo's completely full, I'm still painfully swollen. It's so uncomfortable I can barely rest my arms at my sides. At night, the aching keeps me wide awake. Forget wearing anything cute. I'm constantly ruining my tops with noticeable wet spots, drawing the kind of attention I definitely don't want. The irony? I dropped all my baby weight, but my figure is completely different now. I'm curvier than I've ever been. David, please, I just need some help. I begged my husband one night, hoping he'd step up and help me relieve the agonizing pressure. He just scoffed, looking at me with disgust. Sarah, are you serious? You really want me to do that? That's for our son. Right on cue, his buddies called, and he walked out to grab a beer. It wasn't the first time David had rejected me lately, but his coldness stung more than ever. I tried using the pump again, but it was practically useless and just caused more pain. I looked down at my ridiculously heavy chest. There was no give to them at all, just agonizing firmness. I sighed, feeling totally unappreciated. Most husbands would be thrilled with a wife who looked like this right now, but David couldn't even look at me. I dabbed away a stray drop that leaked out. This situation was driving me crazy. Seeking a distraction, I scrolled through my phone, and that's when I saw it. Wet nurse needed. Must have ample supply to satisfy a hungry newborn. $300 per feeding. Bingo. This was the exact answer to my prayers. I called the number immediately. The client asked me to come over for a trial run. If the baby latched and ate well, I was hired. I got the address and eagerly prepared for my interview that afternoon. I pulled out a white blouse and a wrap skirt, but thanks to my current condition, my curves were far more pronounced than ever. The top 2 buttons of my blouse strained so hard against the fabric that they completely refused to close. I had to ditch my usual undergarments just to make it work, leaving my silhouette undeniably noticeable. Honestly, I looked more alluring than I had in months. I grabbed my bag, kissed little Leo goodbye, and left him with my mother-in-law. Giving myself a quick pep talk in the mirror, I headed out, feeling a renewed sense of confidence. I found the sprawling house easily. I took a deep breath, tried to smooth down the front of my struggling blouse, and rang the doorbell. The door swung open. It was Mr. Smith. He froze for a split second, his eyes widening as his gaze immediately dropped, lingering exactly where my shirt was failing to cover me. I blushed hotly, tucking a stray hair behind my ear. "Hi, I'm Sarah Miller. Are you Mr. Smith?" He blinked hard, snapping out of his daze. "Yes, please, come in." I sat awkwardly on his plush couch, highly aware of his gaze still tracking my movements. A sudden flush of warmth spread through my body. It was a look of pure, undivided hunger, a look my husband hadn't given me in ages, and it definitely stirred something within me. But when I glanced up again, the intensity in his eyes was masked, replaced by a polite smile. Had it just been a fleeting moment of lost control? A strange pang of disappointment washed over me as I took the opportunity to actually study Mr. Smith. He was striking. He wore a perfectly tailored suit that practically hugged his broad shoulders and hinted at a seriously muscular physique underneath. Clearly, he worked out. He had an air of sophistication, every movement graceful and completely controlled, and those eyes, deep, dark, and intense, framed by sharp, handsome features. My heart actually skipped a beat. I couldn't help but think of David, always grumpy and impatient since Leo was born. He was constantly out with his friends, stumbling in late and reeking of stale beer. Any physical connection between us had completely died, buried under his growing beer belly and utter lack of effort. Mr.